To the people who told me this film wasn't very good, why did you lie to me? This film is Black Mirror meets the L Word, and that is lesbian catnip for me. It's not light and frothy, it's dark and stormy, and I like that. I do. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video, I just wanted to review the film Jagged Mind. I've been so excited to watch this film. It might have been because of Maisie Richardson-Sellers. It might have been. Jagged Mind is about a woman plagued by blackouts and strange visions who discovers she's stuck in a series of time loops possibly related to her mysterious new girlfriend. So let's get into it. First of all, the opening scene to this film deserves an Oscar. I knew I would like this film the minute it started playing. I did. As a lesbian, it was 10s across the board. It was. All the actors in this film are so incredibly beautiful. It was lesbian heaven. Oh my god, everyone was so beautiful. Everyone is so beautiful in this film. I can't. Not only are the actors stunningly beautiful, they have electric chemistry with each other that left me blushing. I mean, seriously, it was so refreshing to me how much care was taken with the casting for this film, because there wasn't one weak link. All of the actors gave 110%. This film is emotionally complex, and all of the actors gave such a beautifully nuanced performance, particularly Maisie Richardson-Sellers and Shannon Woodward. I mean, both of them were just incredible. The way that Shannon could switch up between caring and soothing to horrifically abusive was jarring. It was jarring to watch, but in a good way. There were also way more lesbian scenes in this film than I was expecting. Usually in lesbian film, it's 2 hours of eye contact and then a few crumbs of affection towards the end of the film. This film is the whole cake, and it throws it in your face from the minute it begins. And I enjoyed that. I did. I also love the fact that being a lesbian and lesbian relationships were totally normalized in this film. Like, lesbianism was never the source of friction or conflict in the narrative, which again shouldn't be refreshing and unique in 2023, but it still kind of is within the context of lesbian films. This film just reminded me so much of the L Word. There was an art exhibition with an artist called Rose Porter. The name Rose Porter has to be a reference to Bette Porter. Like, it has to be. Kelly Kelly must have a crush on Jennifer Beals. She must. Same. The production's pretty clean. I don't think there's anything to complain about on a technical level with this film. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about this film. A lot of people don't really like it, but I think that's because they didn't connect with it, or they just weren't a fan of the narrative, which I understand. It's quite a dark film. It's not light and frothy, and I really like darker films. So maybe that's why I feel differently. Everybody's going to have a subjective experience with this film. People are allowed to dislike it or feel differently. But as I said, from sort of a technical perspective or a more clinical perspective, the film really isn't bad. The acting's fine, the production's fine, the dialogue, the writing is fine. I feel like the only reason to dislike this film really is because you don't like what's happening in it, perhaps. I will say it's very easy to poke holes in the plot. That's the only thing that I think possibly could have been improved upon writing-wise in this film. For example, my biggest question is, why was Billy having visions and memory issues before Alex had got a hold of her blood? Because health-wise, the doctors tell Alex there's no conclusive results pertaining to her memory loss, which rules out early onset dementia as an explanation. And in terms of the occult, the crystal needs blood to work, but Billy was having these issues with her memory before Alex got a hold of her blood. So was that just because she did actually have a health problem? Or can it just be explained away by the general occult element of the film? You can definitely pick a lot of holes, plot-wise, for sure. There's also a lot of layers to this film. Of course, it explores domestic abuse and the occult, but it also portrays a marginalized community and makes commentary on how the art world can be exclusionary. And I found the film very visually rich and interesting in certain places, particularly pertaining to the art pieces. There's a lot of commentary about love and suffering that's told through the artwork in this film, and also about the corruptible nature of obsession and our desire to control, especially when it comes to relationships. And again, in terms of domestic abuse, this is particularly relevant. And I'd really love to just sit down with Kelly Kali and ask her about her vision for this film and about all the layers to it, because I think it's really interesting. In terms of the film being a horror, I did find it very disturbing and jarring in places, but I think a lot of that is because some of what happens in the film is a reflection of actual abusive relationships in real life. I think overall the film did a good job of building suspense, and there were one or two jump scares. I think the most disturbing thing by far in this film is Alex's abusive episodes, because she just switches, and it can be hard to watch that kind of violence and manipulation. I always find it much more horrifying when a horror film is portraying something that can actually happen in real life, right? I think this film would be very triggering for anybody who's been in any kind of abusive relationship. I thought the ending was a little bit predictable with Billy keeping the crystal. It was a little bit obvious, but hey, she purged her life of toxic lesbians and now is about to potentially become one herself. It's the circle of life. So yes, as you can tell, I love this film. It was a lot better than I was expecting. And it wasn't just engaging to watch, it was also really interesting. Like, you could definitely deconstruct this film and uncover new layers. As I say, the production was very clean, the acting was good, the cast had chemistry, I thought the writing was pretty decent. The only thing you could really split hairs about is perhaps certain plot points, and the narrative could have been tuned a little more finely. But apart from that, I really love this film and I would totally watch it again. Okay guys, if you've seen Jagged Mind, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments section below. If you want to support lesbian content and women's voices, well, if you're feeling down, come on down to the Sapphic Underground Club. Pretty much just like a monthly tip for the content that I put out. Tip me for being a homosexual. It's called knowing my worth. It's called exploitation. Goodbye.